Hi Laura, so this is just a quick follow-up video answering some of the questions that you had. The first thing to say is if you do get that message pop up, you're doing the right thing and just discard that. It means that you've made a change on the website, the site's then done an auto save, and the next time you log in it's trying to revert to that auto save. So basically carry on, save what you're doing. If that message ever pops up, just discard it, and then you basically know that the last thing that you published is how the site will be left. So that's the safest thing to do. So the first thing to cover is you mentioned the Turkish barber and changing that. So if we go to the wellness page, you've got a couple of options here. You can actually, using this tool where you highlight just this area, you can use remove. One thing I will say is that's different to the bin that you've got on the left hand side. If you clicked that, that would remove every single one of these squares. So obviously you don't want to do that. But if you click them individually and you're using this green area, you're only removing that particular business. So for example, if you don't want the Turkish barber there anymore, you can click remove, that is then gone. And that's, once you've saved that, obviously then that is saved and that person has then been deleted. The other option that you've got is to click, and you mentioned using that H image. So if you click on the image and over on the right hand side you just click change image, and that will bring up this box. And if you go to my images, that's every image on the website that I've uploaded is sitting in here. So you'll see there's the square H, so you just click that, and then obviously that then replaces the barber photo with the square H, and again you could then save that. While we talk about that, I'll also say if you then wanted to drag that to the bottom, you can do that. So you've got the move feature. You will often find when you try to move it down, it doesn't like it first time, so just do it a couple of times, and you can obviously then position it exactly where you want it. So it will move to basically wherever you want it to be, and just make sure everything lines up when you're finished like that, and then you know everything's all safe and done. So that just covers that. So obviously I'm not going to make that change, I shall just leave and I'll go back in. The next thing you mentioned was the groceries page. So on there you've got a business that's repeated. So if we go to that, and I think you were talking about the greengrocers at the bottom, and the same principle applies. Just literally highlight the box of the one that you want to delete, this green area, hit the trash can, that will remove it, and then obviously if you're happy with it at the top, save. So that covers those three things, and what I will do is just leave that again. And then finally you mentioned wanting to be able to change a photo, which I presume you mean a business photo, so we'll just quickly have a look at that. So the first thing to say about that is you will need some sort of software like Photoshop or similar to help you to resize these images. So for example, if we go onto the groceries page, the easiest way for you to prepare a photograph is to go onto the groceries page and just pull off an image that's already on there and drop that into Photoshop, or whatever it is that you use similar to Photoshop. When you'll do that, you'll see that it's sized as 30 centimeters and low resolution, which is ideal because then that covers all devices. So what you'd basically do, I've got an example image here, just a random image of a Tesco shop front. So you would go to your image that you want to use, highlight it and copy it, go across to the image that we've just taken off as our example for the right size, paste that on. You can then position it exactly how you want it. So if we decided that we're happy with that, you would then flatten the layer, and then you need to save it. So to do that, save as, you need to give it a fairly unique name. So I'm going to pop that on the desktop and I'm going to call this Tesco. I'll also then, you can't put spaces in the file name, so just put a hyphen, and the way I tend to do it is just put the month and the year. So that would do as a unique file name. If we just called all the images shop, what could happen is it might overwrite an image on the website that's already called shop. So you're best off to give everything a fairly unique name. That way you know you're not overriding anything. So basically then if we wanted to use that, we come back to the website, we'll just load up the groceries page. If we decided we wanted to add it in, we'd first of all choose where we wanted it. So if we decided we wanted it at the top, what you basically do is you duplicate So that will take a copy of the previous business. So you can see we've got a direct copy of what's there. You'd click change the image. This time we're going to upload it. So that's the image I've done with the unique file name. Drop that on. That will then load it up and replace that image. You would then pop in your store details, whatever that was, and the address and everything else that you'd input into there. Make sure that obviously is on 2 lines so that matches up with the rest of the website. Put in your description. Again, make sure it all lines up before you publish. If you were then happy with that, you would publish it, and that's as simple as that. And same principle as before. If we then decided we didn't want them at the top, you would drag them to wherever it is that you wanted them to be, and put them in position. So yeah, so I hope that helps. If you wanted to cover different images, for example, images in the slider on the home page or images on other pages, let me know. But the same sort of principle applies. You basically have to make sure you're uploading the same size image as the other images in the row, because if you upload one that's bigger or smaller, then all these nicely lined up rows would be different, because you'd have a smaller or a higher image, and then obviously then it would knock all the others out of line and cause a bit of a mess. So that's the process for that. It's just making sure it's the correct size and it's got a unique file name. And don't forget, you've got that half an hour every single month of free support from me if you find some of that too difficult. So thanks for watching.